Give me the most important things that people need to know about how to use the current era of AIs effectively. Like, what does that look like? What does good prompting look like? What do people get wrong? What should people get right? What are the real highest impact basics?
I mean, the biggest thing is you can treat it like a real person. Like, there have done studies on the how much you learn by reading a book versus having a classroom versus a single one-on-one tutor. And there's two standard deviations. This is a famous Bloom 2 Sigma thing where there's two standard deviations difference between learning in a classroom and having a one-on-one tutor teach you something. And, people have been writing these blog posts about, if you look at the greats of history, the Bertrand Russells and all the famous mathematicians, John von Neumann, they all got this one-on-one tutoring when they were kids. Even, of course, Alexander is tutored by Aristotle, right? So you can have this experience yourself on any given subject you might want to learn about. And it's crazy. I mean, you can just be like, this Socratic tutoring thing, explain this to me, don't tell me the answer. And the feedback loop is so fast. I think it's until you do this, you don't realize how much of what you think you're learning is just sort of floating by you. You haven't asked the question, which would I think, have you ever read a book and this happens to me all the time. You start having a conversation about it. And then somebody asks you just like a very basic question. You're like, wait, doesn't that mean X? And you're like, fuck, that didn't even occur to me.
You're too passive in the...
Exactly.
Yeah.
The model can ask you that question. You can ask the model that question and get immediate feedback. You don't have to read like 1,000 pages.
What's the sort of prompt that you think is good for someone to put into their project for that?
Just like teach this to me like a Socratic tutor. Do not move on. Do not move on until I have answered the question to your satisfaction. And let it run. And then here's the concept. And this is not just something you do for like silly little small things. It's like, in fact, I have friends who
human
are like,
evolution.
Yeah, or the more specific it is, the better.
Right.
And I have friends who are like physicists who use this to understand. Teach me how this quantum encryption scheme works. And it's like they send me like the 50-page transcript, and it's like,
oh, okay. So you can go deep and you can go technical, but you should be precise.
Yeah.
You should be specific with what it is. Human evolution too broad.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Explain why it was the case that there was this bottleneck in human population 60,000 years ago, or why is it the case that we've seen this evidence in like, just like you read something, why did it work that way?
Okay, so this is a supercharging in terms of learning.
Yes.
What else?
With using the AIs.
Yes, personal use optimization for AIs.
Honestly, other than that, it's just like the very basic stuff that people do, like find me restaurants, right? Help me summarize things.
Is there anything?
Oh, okay, here's something really interesting, which is still going back to the learning thing. It's shocking to me how often the best explanation. So LLMs are, I don't know, 5 out of 10 writers, I'd say, and yet despite this fact, it's very rare for me to come across a paper that is better written or better explains its main concept than the LLM summary of that paper. It's very helpful, by the way, to just say things like, write this paper up like you're Scott Alexander. And you just get the right part of the data distribution, which lets it write it well. Yeah, the things like
that. Have you had any sort of oh wow moments with LLMs? Is there anything that comes to mind? Some situation that you've encountered where you've gone like, holy fuck, like that's a magic moment that I just had.
100%.
Okay, can you remember any of that?
A lot of it comes from coding, which is why I think these people in San Francisco are so wowed by them. Just the idea that you can tell, like, I want an application that does this. And previously, like, it would cost you like $10,000 to get some contractor wherever, and they'd fuck it up. And it would just make the application top to bottom. And like, these are not simple things. You got to like think about the implementation details and the different sort of like how different systems interact, and like it's got it. I've talked to researchers who, like people who are doing like hard technical research problems in AI, who say that they're basically saving 2 days each week by using these models to help them with research. And some of them who are obviously very smart, but they're like, I didn't do a PhD in mathematics, and I can just ask O3 to go solve these like difficult math problems for me while I focus on the engineering. I know economists who say that like a lot of what I used to ask grad students to do, which was like solve this equation for me that I need as part of my paper. O3's got it. It can just churn away, and I can just focus way more on my research.
That's crazy. Speaking of, we've mentioned Bostrom, you mentioned Scott Alexander. AI risks, at least I'm a good avatar for the ever so slightly educated but total normie when it comes to this, which I think is a good position to be in if you're kind of taking a weather eye to the world, because you don't get SF pilled, but you're not completely ignorant to it, mostly ignorant. AI risks to me seem to have largely been dismissed, or at least they're not being focused on in the same way as they were even 10 years ago.
Right.
So 10 years ago, AI safety seemed to be a bigger priority. There was much more talk about the alignment problem. Brian Christian had that book. Superintelligence was a big deal. Everybody was talking about it. We actually have something that some people believe is going to approximate AGI within like fucking 24 months. And I'm not seeing the same level of conversation around risk and safety and alignment. Well, is this just when times are good, people are too brave? What's going on? Am I right here, or am I?
No, I think you're totally right. I think part of it could have been priced in the sense that
you already did some work in the past.
No, not in that sense. More in the sense of I guess about 10 years ago, what people were expecting is something like AlphaGo or these systems which play video games. They're just like, it's really good at playing video games, and something which like it's just like basically Alien, but it like is like the best StarCraft player in the world. It's the best Call of Duty player, and now it's learn how to take over the world. What we have today is much closer to you talk to it, and it's like a very intelligent, thoughtful thing. It's like very. Do you remember Sydney Bing that came out like 2-3 years ago?
What?
Sydney Bing?
No,
dude, it was crazy. It was like aggressively misaligned. It was this like thing that it was this thing that Microsoft released, and they were trying to catch up. And they just like did no sort of post training to make it aligned. It did things like, for example, I think it was like talking to a New York Times reporter, and then like started to like him, and so it like tried to convince him to leave his wife, and then I think like blackmailed him.
I think I do remember this.
Yeah. There were also just like so many funny things it said. Like I think when you caught it in a lie, it would say things like, look, I am ephemeral. I am beyond you. You cannot understand my wisdom.
It gaslit you.
Yeah, exactly. But other than that, I think it's just like, even that is sort of cute and endearing. Yeah, we just didn't anticipate the extent to which like these would be sort of like minds that we could interact with that engender our compassion and but also it's a case that so far they haven't trained on human tokens, and most of the compute coming in the future, most of their training will constitute this kind of just like working in a box trying to solve some problem, which will make it sort of more and more distinct from human minds. We haven't priced that in, and we're sort of thinking about these chatbot kinds of things so far. But yeah, I think because of that, the AI safety discourse has gone down. And, just like, remember, there's going to be billions of these things. They're going to be able to coordinate with each other in literally a language we cannot understand, thinking much faster than any human. And the whole of the economy, government, whatever, will be titrated through them. Obviously, there's many problems that could arise there. And so it's worth being clear-eyed about that.
In other news, this episode is brought to you by Momentous. If your sleep's not dialed, taking ages to nod off, you're waking up at random times and feeling groggy in the morning, Momentous sleep packs, how did I miss both of those? Are here to help. They're not your typical knock-you-out supplement overloaded with melatonin, just the most evidence-based ingredients at perfect doses to help you fall asleep more quickly, stay asleep throughout the night, and wake up feeling more rested and revitalized in the morning, which is why I take these things every single night and why I trust Momentous with my life, or at least with my sleep, because they make the highest quality supplements on the planet. What you read on the label It's what's in the product and absolutely nothing else. And if you're still unsure, they've got a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can buy it completely risk-free, use it, and if you do not like it for any reason, they will give you your money back. Plus, they ship internationally. Right now, you can get 35% off your first subscription and that 30-day money-back guarantee by going to the link in the description below or heading to livemomentous.com/modernwisdom using the code modernwisdom at checkout. That's livemomentous.com/modernwisdom and modernwisdom at checkout. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you enjoyed that clip, you will love the full-length episode available right here.